Mango Loco to cheer us up. So hold on. Hold the phone. Mango Loco, lads. That tickles all the right taste buds, that does. A lot of people wonder about what controls pros use and all that, and honestly, the first thing I can say is whatever makes it more comfortable for you. If you prefer doing X over Y, go for it. Like, top players will do stuff very differently. For example, Marine Lord is very much about putting his units on 3 and 4, and then some buildings on 1 and 2, for example, which I think is really strange, but again, every player finds their own comfort zone with things. So I'll go through some stuff initially. One of the first things I think you should always do is enable pan acceleration. This is so obnoxious. If you're wondering what it is, when you're going around with your camera, sometimes you can, in fact, I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys the difference. So let me just boot up a game here, and we'll go over some of the stuff that it actually does in game for you. So I'll turn it on, and then I'll turn it off immediately. Because yeah, this might be a fairly detailed video about just certain things, but let's see. Okay, pan acceleration on. So what does this do? So as you do this to the sides of the screen, it kind of floats a little bit. Like, it feels very much like I'm not super crisp. Whereas as soon as we turn that off, get ready. Instant, and it stops as soon as you stop. aka fabulous. So first thing, turn that off. I don't know why it's default on anyway. All this other stuff, again, you can have it however you like. Dynamic training, I don't think anybody wants that on. Colors, you can use whatever. None of this is actually that super important. Initially, I didn't like this setting because it wasn't like that initially, but somebody earlier asked about how do you show the waypoints and stuff when you're right-clicking for single actions. Right here. Oh, Q command priority. Gathering or construction. Interesting. I didn't even know about this. This must be a new thing they added. And then given a Q command to construct the building. If set to construction, the villager immediately erects the building. Nice. If set to gathering, the villager waits for the current resource deposit to be depleted before moving on. Okay. Very interesting. I have health bars always on. Construction progress bars always on. Show game duration timer. Show pin player information. This one's a lot for the stream. I like the game duration timer. I like the show all build queue. For a while, it took me a bit of time to get used to it. Minimap, you can actually have 3 different settings here. I do recommend having the minimap a little bit larger, even on largest. The only reason I don't use largest is when I play China. Sometimes the UI overlaps onto the minimap itself. I could use control group shortcuts for you guys, and then idle villager icons. I like this, so you can tell when some guy's idling. Graphics, super damn simple. I'm a medium mainly guy. My main reason for that, and vertical sync off. My main reason for this is if I ever go to a LAN and there's not the best PC, I think medium covers all my bases, which is great. Audio, you guys know what you like with sound. Online, all right. Accessibility, all right. Now we'll get to the fun stuff that I'm sure a lot of you guys would like to know. So, top controls. Select all units, F7. Now, the reason I have it on F7, I actually use like F1 to F5, and I've always done that from like the StarCraft 2 days. It's very normal for me. Sometimes you can get yourself in a situation where it gets chaotic, like you're going to base race basically, and you can grab everything This also allows me to kind of check what I have every so often. Let's say I want to select all my traders. I'll press F7, then control click the traders at the bottom, and it's great. Select all units on screen. That can be also like a, oh no, got to move all these villagers from this position and get them running, I've always had cycle through idle economic units. This one, in fact, we'll go through to this one because this is going to be fun. So we talked about the F7 for select all units. Tab, that's all natural. Cycle through idle economic units and then select all idle villagers. I've always enjoyed this. So if I have one idle villager, I just press F1. If I want to select all of them, control F1 and move them. This really allows me, this is something that was in StarCraft 2 as well, that helps a lot. Thank you, Sean Sams, for just making sure that anytime I have idle villagers, I can get them doing something else immediately without much trouble. Let's have a look, see. Cycle through idle military units. Select all military units. I've got it as my tilde button. I experimented with select all idle military units, and honestly, it's probably something that I could use and might better me if I want to keep some units somewhere. But, let's have a look, see what else have I got hotkeyed here. Find and select hero. I only just recently added this for Jean, but this helps a lot. Just, you know, when there's a big fight going on, something a bit chaotic. I haven't been a mouse button user for a long time, many years, but I just kind of made it on the side buttons. I didn't know which one I preferred, given that I haven't really utilized mouse buttons, but just testing what I like. And all this is very default. I use a lot of very default stuff. So, in fact, we'll go through the game one here. Cancel. I didn't even know about the cancel one until fairly recently, where you can just cancel B. Cancel all items in all production of the queue selected buildings. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is all very much default, I think. So we've got unit selection, game selection. Okay, building selection. This could be interesting. So I don't know if this is just standard default. Oh, unit selection. Yeah, hold on. There isn't the religious one here, no? Huh. It should be here. Hey, where is it? The religious option. Interesting, because I have that on F5. Maybe it's for... Very interesting, because normally it should be there, no? We'll see. I actually hotkey all my military production on different hotkeys. It's just something I've been very used to. Select all economy buildings, F2. Select all technology buildings, F3. So the economy buildings, things like your mills. What else? Market. So, yeah. You can get wheelbarrow, all your upgrades with Delhi by just pressing F2 and then tabbing through. Technology buildings is like blacksmiths, universities. So very, very helpful. You can have a hotkey for select all town centers and landmarks and stuff if you want. And again, I don't really use any of these because I already use hotkeys for them. And I kind of combine some of them as well. So I, again, don't use much. Select all monasteries, mosques, prayer tents. I have this on F4, which is very standard for me. Select all blacksmith 0. I know not the most comfortable hotkey for a lot of people to get used to. I remember in StarCraft 2 you didn't have automatically assigned hotkeys, so I would move my hand from using my little pinky for control. I would just move my hand over for the thumb to control and press 0 like that, and then move back. And it was very normal, but then it was like, oh, I can just set it as 0 here. Very easy. Select all docks, F6 or 7. Super, super easy. Okay, control groups. I wonder if the cycle through thing is here, because it should have been. The only thing I've changed here is making control space for number 8, to select 8, because 8's a little bit tricky. I can push it, but it takes... Sometimes it might overlap with 7 or so, you know. it can be a little bit tricky. I'm very surprised. I thought cycling through religious units. I really thought I'd be able to find that, but you know. Oh! Here we are. Aha! F5. It's on the secondary key. All right. So when I'm going through, I totally missed it. When I'm going through my religious units, I'll be F5. It works out for me. So monasteries F4, F5 for my actual religious units. Super simple and straightforward. As for like camera and stuff, this is all things that default again. For this, I just changed it to plus and minus so I can get stuff done a little bit faster. I also had like switch between players just so I can view replays and have everything over there for my fingers in the same little section, but nothing too crazy. A grid layout as well. I have delete as caps lock over here, so that's what I hold down. And in general, fairly basic stuff. Fairly basic. I guess one thing also, just to go down over here, I actually use exclusive control groups. So this, I like this quite a lot at the moment. If you are a StarCraft 2 player initially, this is very much like the alt groups, where if you have 10 units in one hotkey, and you grab 5 of them, control 2, you'll then have 2 groups of 5 units instead of 1 of 10 and 1 of 5. It'll split them up, so you can never have more than 1 unit in one control group. Can definitely help for getting these little run-bys going, where it's like you have a big army, you just grab a bunch, control 2 them, send them on their way, and they're out of the main group as well. Very helpful. But yeah, this was a little bit of... In fact, I'll show you here. So if I have these guys selected as my control group 1, if you grab these, control 2, now they're my group 2 and group 1. Very, very, very simple and easy, and very nice for when the game gets hectic and you want to split people up and send them about and stuff. And I do actually quite like the waypoint thing, because you can sometimes tell if there's anything in the way when you're going, or say if you're trying to get by a wall and all of a sudden your guys, say if you right click over here somewhere and there's a wall and your guys end up the rally point somewhere over here instead, that can help a lot for just knowing if there's something in the way. But yeah, that was a little bit of talking about controls and hotkeys for you guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll put it on the YouTube, yeah, of course. Yeah, I didn't even really talk about what my hotkeys were in game. So my hotkeys, I'm still working on what I really like, but I guess I could have a quick look at I don't know the best way to talk about it, but everything I use is pretty much default. But within regards to like control groups and how I set things up, I'm very much StarCraft 2 focused. Like that was my initial game, and I kind of went from Warcraft 3 to StarCraft 2, and that's where I learned how to hotkey. But 6 is my town centers. So whenever I add on more town centers, it's always on 6. So if I want to go back to my main base, very often I just double tap 6. 4, and this I think this stems from being an English main initially, where I just loved longbows. Like for the first few weeks of AO4, I only played English. 4 is my archery ranges, and I've started making it archer rangers and the mercenary school thing, the mercenary trainer. Whereas 5 was literally every other military building. So I'd put like barracks in there, stables, siege, workshop in 5. So for a long time it was those, and then just 4 alone for the archery range. I've always found it kind of nice to split up my production like that, because in StarCraft 2 I was like 3 for factories, 4 for starports, 5 for barracks. And that allowed me to kind of put my like bio rallied a bit more forward, and then my tank a little bit behind, and then if I wanted to switch things up, like my starport being somewhere in my base for air defense with Vikings. And And I have a little bit of that feeling with this as well. Like, very often, I'll be like, alright, rally the infantry and horses in front, and then the archers behind, just as a natural defensive posture. That leaves me with 3 hotkeys for units, 1, 2, and 3. And then combined with all those other hotkeys that we've set up as we went through the controls, like the F keys and stuff, selecting the mosques. The market building, that will be in F2 with my economy buildings. And very often, the market, as soon as you select F2, and it will pop up with whatever economy building you made first, you'll still have all the trade options in the bottom. So you can still press F2 and then trade instantly. So yeah, that's very much how I do my hotkeys. Not necessarily... Again, it's different for everybody, isn't it? Do you find your muscle memory from SC2 is impacted at all from the AoE grind? Not so much. Like, I went and played StarCraft 2 very recently when the new patch came out, and I ended up getting top 50 again, GM, pretty decently. It's definitely changed a lot, but it was still decent. I did find myself wanting to build a depot with like QS as opposed to BS, which was funny. So there's some stuff that...